I can't even believe this one. We covered Trump's post directed at Pam Bondi a while ago. And there was reporting, and I kind of scoffed at the reporting, that this post was something Trump accidentally sent out on Truth Social, and he meant to directly message it to Pam Bondi. And it was framed as like an accidental leaked text or a leaked message, but it was, he posted it and then didn't delete it. And I even said, I'll remind you of that. No. But now we have confirmation about how this went public and Trump's reaction when he found out that it did. So this was the post where he said, Pam, I've reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Nothing's being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell. And he goes on to demand, as you just heard there, one of the names mentioned, Comey be prosecuted. Then a few days later, Comey was prosecuted. Excessively authoritarian. And it was, even for Trump, strange that he sent that out publicly. And then we got reporting that aides thought that might have been an accident. But let me show you what I said, because even I wasn't buying that it was an accident fully. And while you watch this flashback, and then I'll give you the update, please do, if you appreciate the show, click the subscribe button. It's free, but it supports the show algorithmically. Now, if like his staffers or Department of Justice officials believe this was meant to be a text message or a DM, who hasn't done that? What I have done is sent a message to someone I didn't mean to send, but it was meant to be a text message. Like I've told the story before of saying something that was supposed to be satirical to a friend that had something to do with sex, but it was funny. It was tasteful. Don't worry. But out of context, to your mother, maybe, it wouldn't seem that way. And so I was busy. I was distracted, and I sent the message to my mother that was meant to be for a friend about something you don't text your mother. And she responded by saying, awkward. I've done that. But have I posted it publicly? No. I don't even know how you get those apps mixed up. So I don't know. That's what I think Trump was just, is this brazen now where he'll post publicly a demand to the attorney general, which is insane and authoritarian, that he wants his political opponents, Comey, Schiff, James, etc., to be put in jail, and he's upset. So you heard it there. Did I kind of want you to hear that funny anecdote again? Yeah, I did. I just find it very silly. Imagine being like, sex, something, to your mom. Who, let's just say, my mom and I talk about almost everything, not that topic. So it was awkward. But the important part was me going, but even I don't think Trump did that. I think Trump meant to send it publicly. I think he's that brazen. And people say I don't admit when I'm wrong. Other people say it's because I'm never wrong. No, but I will. I do admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. This was even more embarrassing than we thought for Trump. Wall Street Journal on September 20th, Trump meant to send a private message to Attorney General Pam Bondi, urging her to prosecute former FBI Director James Comey and his other favored targets, according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility, Trump wrote. Trump believed, listen to this, he is an adult man, an adult person, and he accidentally sent it publicly, which I don't even know how that happens. Trump believed he had sent Bondi the message directly, addressing it to Pam. He was surprised to learn it was public, the official said. So what really happened, we're learning now, is he typed out this message, sent it publicly instead of to Pam Bondi, and then turned on TV and was like, who told CNN about this? Huh. Who leaked that text? It was him. And to which he checks his Truth Social feed, and he's the one who posted it. Now, the misfire provided a window into how, through command and chaos, Trump has executed a wholesale transformation of the Justice Department. It's not a transformation. It's a degradation. But okay. Is it, because this opens up a whole different can of worms. Is it that he meant to send it as a DM? How do you send a text as a post? That's one thing, right? No one's ever done that in the history of the world. Typed out an iMessage and then sent it on Twitter or sent it on Truth Social. Definitely not Truth Social because no one uses it, but except for Trump. But no one's ever done that. So then they say it was supposed to be privately messaged to her. Are they Truth Social DMing about important matters of state? Is this how they're communicating? I feel like True Social is probably really easy to hack, and they could get all sorts of things, more headlines about this. White House officials admit Trump's public screed against Pam Bondi was supposed to be a private message. Is this 25th Amendment worthy? Imagine Biden. Jill, can you pick up, Jill, all caps calling, can you pick up more of those cookies that I like? I'd love to kiss you while I'm still chewing. I love when we do that. And he posted that publicly. The people have been screaming, he's demented. He doesn't know what's going on. And I saw, interestingly, some reporting about how Pam Bondi called Trump and was furious, and called his aides and was furious. So then he was like, okay, I'll post Pam Bondi's doing a great job after that. And I think he's kind of overcompensating now, like in this press conference.
It's people that you would never think. I want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, by the way, yesterday was incredible in Congress. It was amazing, and she just did it from the heart and the brain, because she's very smart, in all fairness. But she did it from the heart, and she did it an incredible. Everybody was talking about it. She exposed some of these.
This is like, when you're talking, like let's say Cole and I are talking, and I think Jaden's out of the room, and I'm like, Cole, Jaden, he's just so stinky today. And I don't realize, and Jaden always smells great. That's why I can use this as the hypothetical. And then Jaden walks in and is like, I am? And you're like, oh, he heard that? So then the rest of the day, I'm like, Jaden, that sweater looks so good on you. Oh my gosh, thank you. You're such a good employee. Like, overcompensating. He's doing that now. I think he feels bad that he roasted her publicly when he thought it was going to be private. And now he's overcompensating. Now, she obviously followed through on what he requested in that post. And now Comey was just arraigned.
I do have some breaking news from Laura Romero, who just ran this note out to me from the courthouse. She says that James Comey has pleaded not guilty. We know that he was obviously charged with 2 counts. It doesn't appear that Comey spoke. The plea was entered by his attorney, Patrick Fitzgerald. The attorney asked for a jury trial, and they waived the reading of the indictment. That's a procedural thing. That means that the judge doesn't have to read the full indictment. But the news here is that Comey has pleaded not guilty to those 2 counts of making false statements to Congress, and then allegedly making false statements to Congress, and then an obstruction of a congressional proceeding. All that stems from that 2020 testimony that he gave when, of course, he testified.
And we've picked that apart. And the more that I see about the case, the less that I think they're even right on the merit or on the facts. I don't even think he lied under oath, which is crazy, because even if he did, it would be the most insane example of selective prosecution. And it was about something to do with Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation investigation. So it would be prosecuting him for lying about leaking, and the leak was actually helpful to the Trump campaign. But all that aside, still, this case is going to fall apart for a bunch of reasons. One, just being, I don't think he did, and I don't think they would have the evidence if he did, and I think he has a lot of things going in his defense regardless of if he did. This is kind of funny. The judge signed an order scheduling Comey's trial for an impossible date. What if this was on purpose to help Comey out? The trial was scheduled for January 5th, 2025 on accident, which already happened. It's fascinating they're scheduling it so close to January 6th. Just schedule it January 6th. That would be so impactful. Such a metaphor. But maybe the judge is like, I'll trick Trump. Clearly is zoinked out of his brain. He can't even post. He can't text. Post what he's texting what's posting. That's the other question. Has he ever texted what he meant to post publicly? It's like, the med beds are going to save our country. And it's just sent to Marco Rubio. Marco's like, right on, President. Let's see here. And it continues. Trump's not happy with just Comey being prosecuted. He also is calling on the Chicago mayor and Governor Pritzker to be in jail. Then he said about, look at this post. I can't read all this. Sanctimonious Richard Danang Dick Blumenthal, perhaps the biggest joke in the U.S. Senate, is at it again. Dick, because his first name, I guess, is Dick, or his middle, Richard Dick. I don't. but he's putting it in quotations. Dick lied until the midpoint of his political career and then goes on to make the allegation that we addressed before. And to whatever extent lying went on, that's bad. But what's its relevance to Pam Bondi's testimony, which is what Trump's ranting about. And he ends it by saying that Richard Danang Dick Blumenthal should not be allowed to speak. He should not be allowed to speak no longer, or he should be allowed to speak no longer. Freaky. And you heard him call for Pritzker to be prosecuted. Pritzker responded, the governor of Illinois.
You know as well as I do, the President of the United States in the last 24 hours called for you to be imprisoned. I want to give you an opportunity. We've seen your reaction on social media, but I want to hear what you have to say back to the President of the United States.
Well, let's start with the idea that this is a convicted felon. I mean, think about that, who is threatening to jail me. I got to say, this guy's unhinged. He's insecure. He's a wannabe dictator. And there's one thing I really want to say to Donald Trump. If you come for my people, you come through me. So come and get me.
What is
I mean, hey, true, I guess, good. So that's psychotic. Trump is adding people to his enemies list. And I just have to do a little bit of an update for you all. AOC, after mocking Stephen Miller's height, came out and said, just to be clear, we love our short kings, but it's more of a metaphor. Okay? And said this.
I want to express my love for the short king community. I don't believe in body shaming. I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside. Like, for example, I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is. No idea at all. But that guy looks to me like 5'3", like 5'3", 5'4". Whereas physically, men of smaller stature can come across. They are spiritually 6 foot. If you're a good dad, if you're...
So, I mean, hey. So, I honestly understood her point about Stephen Miller taking out his rage about something, whatever it is, onto people. And that's why Stephen Miller, his own cousin, described him as the face of evil. And I understood the point that she made. It is funny to clarify and then still be emphasizing the idea that a taller height is like better in a way. You're like, if you're a good person, you're like a 6 foot person. And it's like, well, hey, let's not keep doubling down there on that part. But I do like that. When people ask me when I'm on a date or like messaging, they're like, how tall are you? And I say 6'5". And then they meet me and they say, you're not 6'5". I say, I am on the inside. But I found it interesting. I think she's definitely been watching the show because she said this.
I want to express my love for the short king community.
And it's so interesting she used that phrase because a few days ago when I was clarifying, I said, the short king community. Listen to this. In a warrior for the short king community. Listen to this. Let's take that down. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen.
My love for the short king community.
Interesting. Just interesting. And clearly that's why she was responding, was because I said, I love the criticism of Steve Miller, but we don't have to make it about height. And then she responded. So thank you, AOC. I appreciate the viewership.